G'day everyone. This week you're working on your first assignment for Essential Maths, and it's all about can we show that we can add, subtract, multiply and divide with pen and paper as opposed to just plugging it into your phone or your calculator and doing it that way. So it's important when we're doing this to show a little bit of working while we're doing it. So remember, this is what it looks like. You've got to add some numbers together, subtract, a few multiplication problems as well, and then right at the end there's a little bit of division as well. So let's get started with just some example style problems. Okay, let's start with this one. So we always want to line up our numbers as best we can, and then we want to start over here with the units. All right, so 1 plus 3 of course is 4. Move on to the tens now. 3 plus 8 is 11. Now I don't want to write 11 here. That's not going to work. And so instead of that, I put the 1 at the end of the 11 and then 1 at the start of the 11 up here, because that's another 100 essentially that we've got to add to our list here. Okay, now working on the hundreds. How many hundreds do we have? Well, we've got 1, and then 4 more, and then 2 more on top of that. So 1 plus 4 is 5. 5 plus 2 is 7. There we go. That should be the answer to that one. So that's how you do it. Now let's do some subtraction. Okay, again, obviously you want to line up your numbers, and then you're going to start over here with the units. 2 take 7. Can't really do that, can we? So what we need to do instead is we need to cheat a little bit. Let's pretend it's not 2. Let's call it 12. Okay, because I do know how to do 12 minus 7. Right, 12 minus 7 is 5. I'm going to have 5 left over. But of course, if we're going to cheat a little bit and sort of borrow one and put it up here, what we need to do down here is we need to subtract a little bit more. Okay, so how do I read this notation? Now I realize that some students might have a different way of setting this out. This is just the way that I remember learning it when I was at school. What am I doing here? It's 6. Instead of subtract 8, it's 6 subtract 1 plus 8. So it's 6 subtract 9. And again, we can't really do that, can we? So I'm going to borrow again. I'm going to put a 1 up here, and I'm going to put a 1 down here to remind me. 16 subtract 9 is 7. Okay. And then finally, 4 is going to be, 7 subtract 4 is going to leave us 3. Do you see why I'm calling this one 4? Because we've got an extra 1 there. So it's 7 subtract 3 plus 1 essentially. Okay, so that's where we're up to so far. What color haven't I used just yet? Maybe green this time. I think that's green anyway. Multiplication, same deal. We've got to line up all of our numbers. And we're going to start multiplying out. So we're going to multiply those two guys and then those two guys and see what we get. So 5 times 8 is 40. I don't want to write 40 down here, do I? I want to write the 0 part here, and I want to put the 4 up here. And then 5 times 3. 5 times 3 is 15. 15 plus that extra 4 is 19. Okay, and then we drop down to the next line. We come down here, and remember, you've got to put a 0 there, don't you? And we move over a position. Okay, so now what we're doing is we're multiplying this by that, and this by that. Okay, so 2 times 8, that's 16. I'm going to put the 6 part here, and I'm going to put the 1 part here. 2 times 3 is 6. 6 plus 1 is 7. Okay, now we've done our 2 separate multiplications there, I guess. What you do once you've done that is you add up what you got. So 0 plus 0 is 0. 9 plus 6 is 15. And then 1 plus 1 is 2. Plus 7 is 9. I think the answer is 950. Okay, last one, division. And right here, what we're doing is, this is called short division, the way that I'm going to do it here. So I want to say, how many times does 4 go into 1,728? That's the way that I write it. 1,728 divided by 4. This is the way I'm going to set it up. So I say, how many times does 4 go into 1? I can't do that, so I don't panic. I instead say, well, instead of 1, what about 17? How many times does 4 go into 17? Now, 4 times 4 is 16. So it goes in 4 times, doesn't it? We're going to put a 4 right over here. Okay. And then there's also 1 left over, isn't there? Because 17 is 1 more than 16. So that one that's remaining here, I'm going to put there. And then I say, how many times does 4 go into 12? Okay, so 4 goes into 12 3 times. Okay, and then finally, how many times does 4 go into 8? 4 goes into 8 2 times. So that's the answer then. 1728 divided by 4 is 432. Okay, hopefully that helped, guys.